Mr. Min,
Yes.
thank you so much for sitting down with me, much appreciated. We're here at the UPOV offices, and your country, Vietnam, joined UPOV in 2006. Why was it important for your country to join this organization?
Thank you for your question. I would like to explain to you something before I go to the main question. We started to conduct PVP system, national PVP system since 2004. But from 2004 to 2006, it's not so effective. And when we read the UPOV statement that the UPOV provide and promotion PVP systems for benefits to social. That's why we study when we know that when we join UPOV, we will have condition to implement PVP systems more effectively. That's why we try to join UPOV.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think also several countries find it very important that there is alignment between countries.
Yes, and we have another point that is when we, at that time, we want to be member of WTO. So one conditions from that is because in the Article 20 1.b said that the country want to be member of WTO, they have to establish to protect plant variety as a sui generis, and that is also we need to, because our government want to be member of WTO.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's now 2006, 2019, 13 years that your country is now within UPOV. What have been the main changes that you have seen since then?
Yes. There are many changes, and that is good impact to economy, socio-economy of the Vietnam conditions. I would like to tell you some changes. First, that is farmers' income is increased, because when we apply PVP effectively, many good variety is increased with good features. So farmers have chance to use that good variety, and they can increase their income while they use protected variety. And the second change is its impact to the private sector, because since we implemented the PVP systems, many seed companies, they do breeding also, and they create a new variety, and they invest more to RD, because before we have a PVP, before PVP appeared in Vietnam, the private sector, they only do trade. They are not interested on RD. Okay. But since we have a PVP in beginning, they license the right from owner, and they pay royalty to the breeder. But recently, they invest to their capacity on breeding by themselves, and some of them become big with a very good facility for breeding. So their ability for competition in the global market also increase. And some company in Vietnam now, they expand their market to the overseas, like Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, and also China. That is very good, because before we have no case like that. And another impact is the many different people, even farmer, now can be breeder. In my country, until now, we have more than 40 applications from farmer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, and some farmer now, they can have a new variety for PVP. And there is another, it's a very important, I think it's change that the private sector to participate on the policy of the government and help the success. It makes the big policies become success. I can tell you that now, for example, in agriculture, our government we have 4 policies in agriculture. First is land consolidation, because as you know, our farmer very small field, so it's not suitable for the produce good products for exportation like Vietnam now. So we encourage them to gather their field, become big field. So it's very useful, very good for produce unique products. And then, and second is change. We reorganize pattern crops for more effective. For example, in the situation for climate change now, there are some area lack of water, and they can change to upland crops to plant flowers or fruits, tree, so they can get more value instead of rice. And the third policy is food value chains. We produce food as a crop, follow food value chains, and safety crop production. So we have the 4 big policies. And we find out that where there is participation from private sector, it's easy to succeed. So PVP protect their right. That's why the private sector to invest more, because they don't worry that they lost the right, and that is in fact.
Yeah, clear. Very, very important benefits. It's good to hear these data, I think. I didn't hear so much about the yield of the varieties that are grown in Vietnam. Did something change to the yield as well?
Yes, it's very interesting because in 2016 we have one survey. We combined with one company and survey on the situation of the yield of some crops. And I can tell you, for example, we select 3 main crops in my country. That is rice. Rice is the most important crops in my country. And the second is maize and sweet potato. And we find out that since we become the UPOV member from 2006 until 2016, because we are member in 2006. So we find out that every year the yielding of rice increase 1 year 1.7%.
Impressive.
And maize is 2.1%, and sweet potato is 3.16%. Why the problem is why that data, the corresponding data for the world is increased, but in Vietnam it's higher than average in the world.
Those are really nice numbers. Huh? I bet the farmers are very happy.
Yes.
With the yield increase. And the applicants, did something change on the side of the applicants? More foreign, more domestic?
For the applicant, since before we become UPOV member, many people said that if we will join UPOV, many big company from overseas will find the application, and it's a bad impact for the domestic applicant. But in fact, we find out that since we received the first application from 2004 until now, the number of application from Vietnamese always higher than foreigner. And until now, totally, we compare between foreigner and Vietnamese. The Vietnamese application around 70%. Yeah, it's for example, until now we receive more than 1,400 applications, but from Vietnamese more than 1,000. It's more than 70%.
Really nice, huh? Yeah, so it sounds like it's an enormous boost to the Vietnamese plant breeding and seed sector.
Yes, because PVP increased when we have PVPs, many Vietnamese to participate on the breeding much more than before. And even now, for example, before PVP, only applicant from public sector like a university and in research institute. But now, even seed company and individuals like a farmer, growers, and even many researcher after they retired, they continue to do breeding. But before, after they retire, they do nothing. That is good, and I think it contributes to the, and also the government reduce finance to invest for breeding because seed company and everybody, that's why, and always higher than private public sector now, the number of applications.
So those are tremendous numbers. Do you have any estimate of what it did to the Vietnamese gross domestic product, the GDP?
For GDP, also in the research, in the result of the survey, we find out that since we become UPOV's member, the GDP from the crop production contribute only for three main crops contribute to the GDP is around $5 billion US.
5 billion?
Yes, billion. From rice, maize, and sweet potato.
Fantastic.
And especially, we received many applications for new variety of flowers. That's very interesting. Now in Vietnam, we have two big area to produce flowers because we have some new variety with a good price in the global market from the Netherlands and Japan. They bring to Vietnam and we grow, and now we develop two big area for flowers, and also flowers now we can export, and many new variety we get, and we have about 200 to 300 million US dollar from flowers. Contribute to the GDP.
Congratulations. Do you think that these changes would have been possible without the arrival of UPOV?
Change, if you means if we don't have a UPOV, we will have not change like that.
No?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
If we don't apply the UPOV system and we don't join the UPOV, I'm sure that we cannot have the change like that.
There would be much less investment into the whole seed sector. Yeah. So you're saying that the presence of plant breeders' rights is in fact a boost to seed sector growth. Is the opposite also true? The absence of plant breeders' rights, is it a barrier to seed sector growth?
Yes, if we have no UPOV system in my country, that will be a big barrier to the growth of the seed sector in my country. Yeah, because as you know, when we apply the protect for the right, the seed sector, especially from private sector, it's a fair competition in the market, and everybody try to make their own variety, and they can exploit it with better exploitation than before.
So do you see that the seed breeders, the plant breeders now are selling more or different varieties than before?
Yes, sure. Because when we protect, they will try to create a new variety with good features, and the farmer have chance to select which one is best, so they can sell. Because normally for protected variety is often is good, better variety than the other. That's why they can sell more. And with a different variety. For example, now many companies, they interested in some other species like medicinal plants. And also it's contribute to the diversification for the products to the consumers. For example, in my country now we have some medicinal plants. They protected and they produce medicine and functional food.
Okay.
Yes, it's for the people, good for health. Sure. People.
Okay. Your country is now a member of UPOV, but I also know there are still a lot of countries that are not a member of UPOV. What would you recommend to such countries?
If you let me recommend them, I would like to recommend them should join UPOV, because when they join UPOV, of course, if they are not member of UPOV, they can implement PVP system by themselves. But I'm sure that it's not effective, because when we join UPOV, we can have chance to cooperate with the other members, and with the sharing the experience and so we can improve our capacity, especially for human resource, and that's why it's more effective.
Yeah, fantastic. I do know from other countries that once they start trying to implement UPOV or try to upgrade to a newer UPOV convention, there are several barriers to overcome. What kind of barriers do you think countries are facing, or what barriers have you faced?
Yes, we also have faced in the beginning, and I think the most important barrier, that is the awareness on PVP from the people, from social, different people, and because if they don't understand, they will have many different ideas, even they are against or protest. But when they understand, I think it will be less and they will support. That's why the most important is we have to do for improving their awareness.
Yeah, raising awareness.
Raising awareness, yes.
Amongst all the various stakeholders.
Yes.
In a country. Yeah. Excellent. I do hope that your success story helps to raise the awareness in other countries.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you.